Our second inductee in the athletes category is Holly Manthei of Burnsville. Manthei is one of Minnesota high school's earliest multi-sport athletes to gain fame at the state level. She also is regarded as a pioneer in helping to blaze trails in girls soccer where few paths existed.
I give my parents a lot of credit for sort of my introduction to sports. My dad probably got me started. I played a lot of sports, but I think soccer was just one of those. As the youngest of three girls, my older sisters didn't really play sports, and so as the third daughter, it was like, this will be the boy. Whether she wants to be or not, she is going to play the sports and do the things which I loved. And I think I just remember we started kicking the ball at maybe 6 or so, and I loved it. And so, he introduced me to the sport, and one of the things he had always instilled in me was just sort of, everyone that you play with, you're all the same. You have different abilities, but be humble, say good game after every game. And so I think I really carried that with me through not just my athletic career, but I think that's one of those qualities that you take with you 30 years later, and I'm working, and it's sort of, we're on the same team, and sort of those ground level, morals, but also just like attributes that make good athletes.
During her high school days, Burnsville was at the epicenter of athletic success in many sports.
What's so interesting about Burnsville sports in the 80s and 90s is that it was almost like living in this idyllic athlete John Hughes film, where you go back to like the mid 80s and you had the boys hockey team winning, you had Doug Bowe winning the boys state football tournament, then you had the boys and girls soccer teams winning, girls winning back-to-back state tournaments, and all of these, like, there were 10 years of like what is in the water in Burnsville, that there is something about like all these, and there was probably swimming and gymnastics and all sorts of other things that I'm not even like familiar with, but it was just, I think it sort of, in my mind, it almost sort of set me on this path, good or bad for later, where it's like, we won. And you got so used to winning, I got so used to winning at a high school level that I was able to go on to college and we won. And then I went on to the national team level and we won. And so it sort of set that expectation that winning is normal. And that was certainly part of that decade of growing up in Burnsville.
Manthei did her part to add to that athletic legacy that Burnsville created. She led the girls' soccer team to consecutive championships, was a key contributor on the girls' basketball team that won a state crown, and in track and field, she won a state title in the 300 hurdles, one of the most challenging events in all of sports.
I love to see girls athletes, high school athletes now, who aren't so hyper-focused on one sport. Because I know for me, it was really, as a kid who loved shiny things, it was like, what's the next thing? And so to be able to move from soccer to basketball, and then once I got to probably junior high, I started running track. It actually helped fuel my love for each sport by not having to play each sport all the time, and sort of the seasonality of coming in and out of them, I think actually helped me as just like a well-rounded athlete.
Ultimately, soccer was Manthei's career path following her prep career. She played at Notre Dame and was a 4-time All-American. She led the Fighting Irish to the NCAA Division I National Championship in 1995. She led the nation in assists in each of her first 3 seasons. In 1996, her 44 assists set a single-season national record. Her career trajectory continued with the U.S. women's national team in 1995 and 96. She was part of the team that placed 3rd in the Women's World Cup in 1995.
But Holly had left a mark as a player just because of just her all-around abilities. She was such a dominant player. Obviously, we know she's a wonderful athlete as attributed to her track, basketball, and everything else she did. And then after our season, she went on to win 2 consecutive state championships, which kind of shows what she was capable of, and never mind what she did at the next level. But Holly was probably one of the starting points at that time during that era, where she was looked upon as the top player. She was an all-state player, and then she went on to play at Notre Dame, and one of the top schools in the country. And the career that she put together is obviously unmatched by anybody else, breaking Mia Hamm's assist record, being the all-time leader in assists. It just speaks volumes for the ability that she has, and to be able to do that at that next level, incredible.
Manthei embraces her roots and the path she traveled.
Having people remember you for the contributions that you made that hopefully brought them joy in watching you and playing with you and coaching with you, it feels nothing about it feels like an individual accomplishment, again, because so many people, from the trainers to the coaches to the teammates to the bus drivers to the organizers, nothing would have been done on my own. So I'm really grateful that it brought people joy. Maybe it's in retrospect because high school is so different now. I mean, everything is so different. Olden days. But that, you were born into a place where, I know for me, the girls that I started playing soccer with when I was U10, so I started playing soccer when I was 6, I played high school soccer with those girls. We had primarily the same team for all of those years. And so not only was it, I grew up with those girls, we became friends, but my parents were friends with their parents, and it was this community within a community.